His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms unhappy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole
Yeah, let me send you this.
What is it? Chelsea Manning?
Well, that's kind of like a small thing. I'd say that because I feel like most people have heard her name and seen her in the news because she was one of the people. She was like she's a trans woman that like worked in the army, that was in the military. I'm not sure which branch, and she was in the military and she leaked this thing to WikiLeaks and really all that's talked about is that she went in and out of prison for it, and the guy who created WikiLeaks, Julian Assange, which it's like good for him for doing that, but I think he has like sexual assault or something. It's just like weird shit. Like, bro, why would you do this if you're trying to be like a hero of information? Like, why would you slander your name like that?
I don't know anything about this stuff.
But the video, no, but that's what, and I didn't either. WikiLeaks, you can imagine what it's about. It's this video that was uploaded. What was that called? Civilian attack wiki.
The only thing I know about this stuff that kind of freaked me out a little bit was the John McAfee thing where he had like that tattoo or some shit.
Yeah.
He actually like posted I think it was on Twitter. He posted like, "I'm feeling good. If I die, it's because I was killed." And then the next day he was fucking killed.
Yeah, and then
It will not be by me. And then he fucking died. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, that is weird. That is weird.
I don't buy into that stuff
People
usually, but that was
he knew he was gonna kill himself, so he wanted to like do something crazy. But I don't know. I feel like if I was gonna kill myself, I wouldn't care. Like if I really like was in the state of mind where I was like, I'm gonna do this, I would it would be like a 50-50 whether I even wrote a note.
Yeah.
But this is this thing that Ethan showed me, and he was like, it's just crazy. Everybody talks about the case, but nobody talks about the video. And it's this real horrible thing. Do you wanna like click play together or something on the short version? Because that's really all you need. It's like the highlights.
Yeah, sure.
It is I'm telling you, it is like I've seen horribly disturbing things, but this is just the context of it, and just like, well, yeah, that's where we are. That this is the world. Okay, tell me when.
Which one are we clicking?
The short version.
Is that the top one? Oh, okay, this is it. All right,
the top. Yeah. Hopefully my internet stays this remarkably good for some reason.
It's really good.
Tell me when.
You are. All right, ready, set, go.
And like the way that they edit this to be like, this is what happened, tell everyone you know. It's kind of cool that like gore, if it has historical value, like is okay.
It sounds like the setup to a fucking movie. Like Black Hawk Down.
It does, and you will never guess the angle that this movie has, the perspective, who the protagonists are.
Oh God, radio stuff scares me.
It's scary. It is scary as shit, and I do not blame you.
Those 911 calls.
And it's like real. Like you can tell they laid that shit down. And they were like, yeah, let's just have that radio. That's how it is in the fucking video. It's just this before they start going crazy. I can't, like, this just fucking infuriated me. Like, journalists, motherfuckers that are chilling. It's crazy. Not a fucking building that blows up and there's a kid nearby by accident. This is like, you have to listen to the way that these people talk about other people.
Alright. Is it gonna be like subtitled?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Because I don't know if I'd understand them. I have bad hearing when it comes to radio stuff. I don't know what people are saying because all the static.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Like it makes it all like nothing but. If it was maybe 10 years older, it would be horrible.
Oh,
but
yeah.
now it just sounds like a telephone.
Okay. This is some fucking plot right here. Holy shit.
That's what I'm saying. Dude, this is crazy. It is insane, this video. Like, this was something that was pulled off of, like, that was literally actually leaked. Like, someone tried as hard as they could to get this to WikiLeaks. I never even knew it was like this. I thought it was like, hey, here's some emails, or whatever. The fact that we're even talking about emails, fuck Hillary Clinton, she should go burn in hell. The fact that anyone's even talking about emails after this shit is insane. Like, this is literally fucking, you will not, I don't know, maybe I'm stretching it, but you'll never believe this.
See all those people standing down there? Stay firm. And open your courtyard. Yeah, Roger.
All just chilling, clearly just chilling.
Oh, yeah.
That's him.
I don't know if that's a Bushmaster element. Copy that white 6. That's a weapon. Yeah.
That's a weapon?
We'll call for change by Charlie Mike Bravo.
I'm red, white 6, Bushmaster 6 Romeo. Roger.
I'm gonna put this shit in full screen.
Hotel 26 is Crazy Horse 18. Have individuals with weapons.
4 radio. Rio Bands 14.
When my gameplay channel becomes a fucking...
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Individuals with AK-47s. Request permission to engage.
Is that a tripod?
Roger that. We have.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, he totally, it's a tripod. Look at it.
Setting it up. Looks like a tripod.
Roger, go ahead. I can't get them now because they're behind that building.
And dude, I'm
We got RPG.
it gets worse and worse.
I'm gonna fire. Okay. No, hold on. Let's come around. Behind buildings right now from our point of view. Yeah, we're gonna come around and get them from our individual RPG. Getting ready to fire. We won't. Yeah, we got a guy shooting. Now he's behind the building. God damn it. Speed coming around.
Negative. He was right in front of the Brad. About there.
And they stop being official in the way that they talk,
Just fucking, once you get
and
on
they
the
just
open
start being
road,
just evil. It's evil.
We got about 4 Humvees out along this
you're clear. Alright, firing.
line here. When the state line,
Let me know when you have it. We'll shoot. Light them all up.
202 traffic, 260s.
Come on, fire.
Holy shit! God damn!
Keep shooting. Keep shooting.
Fucking hell! You just lit their asses up! Holy shit!
Yeah, we got 2 bursts. We're still firing. Roger. Got him.
6 is a 2-6. We'll move, but we got 13.
Oh, sorry. Well, it's done.
Bypass.
God damn it, Kyle. Sorry. I hit it by head.
Just fucking the silence in that radio says so much.
Bushmaster 6 is a Bushmaster 2-6.
Bushmaster 2-6 killed a bunch of people with my
Got a bunch of
AP. What are they even in right now?
Alright, we got about,
There's something.
yeah, we got one guy crawling.
Something that those motherfuckers would never dream was there.
Or shooting some more. Roger. Hey, you shoot out.
Looks like that thing in fucking Modern Warfare with like the missile that goes straight down. You gotta aim it at people.
This is Hotel 2.
Exactly.
Roger, currently engaged.
It almost makes it feel weird to fuck with that.
Yeah.
RPGs and
This
Like it's a little too real now playing Modern Warfare.
I cannot believe
You
this.
move to that location once Crazy Horse is done and get pictures over. China.
And they just it starts breaking down to the point where they're just hanging out in the back of the class, and they're just like fucking, these gross,
oh yeah, look at those dead bastards.
God damn.
it is like,
Nice.
Nice. What the fuck?
what the fuck, dude?
Square 02 pre
Nice. Good shoot. Thank you.
And then, ooh, one guy's moving a little bit.
Hotel 26, Crazy Horse 18.
Crazy Horse 1-8, Bushmaster 7, go ahead.
And Bushmaster 7, Crazy Horse location of bodies. Mike Bravo, 54588617. Hey, good on the kitchen, that's good.
54588617 over.
It's Crazy Horse 18.
And it gets like 10 times worse.
How can it get worse than that? There's already a fucking pile of like
I'm telling you.
of Gibbs.
Alright, we'll let him know so they can hurry up, get over here.
Gonna drop fucking missiles on him or something next.
No, that would be too quick.
Individual appears to be wounded, trying to crawl away.
Roger, we're gonna move down there.
Roger, we'll cease fire. Yeah, we won't shoot anymore.
Oh god, imagine being that guy.
I could. It's like that.
If he has a weapon,
That's what like got me. But this is when my jaw was just open.
that guy crawling right now on the curb. Yeah, I got him. I put 2 rounds near him, and you guys are.
So your entire film crew just get destroyed.
Everything.
Just trying to take some pictures.
Yeah.
Hotel 27, Postmaster 7, go ahead.
Roger, I'm just trying to make sure that you guys have my turb over.
Roger, we got the turb. Come on, buddy. All I gotta do is pick up a weapon.
What the fuck?
I know, bro. It's like
Give me a reason to kill you. Give me a fucking reason to kill you.
5 years ago, I would have been like, this is like something you'd see on like a TV about like how terrible the dystopian world is.
Players, we also have one individual moving. We're looking for weapons. If we see a weapon, we're going to engage. Now, Bushmaster, we have a van that's approaching and picking up the bodies.
Look at this. Random van shows up. Random casual van shows up and is like, oh my god. We have to help this person. Picking up bodies and weapons, he says. Dude, he opens up this van. It is the chillest looking van in the world. Look at the inside of this van. It's the chillest fucking regular van. There's a sofa in there. There's a sofa in there.
The mystery machine. Let's shoot. What the fuck, dude? What the fuck is wrong with these people?
I know.
Let me shoot you. Please let me shoot you. It's like Jarhead.
It is. It's fucking crazy.
It's Bushmaster 7, go ahead.
Roger, we have a black SUV or bongo truck picking up the bodies. Request permission to engage.
Bushmaster 7, Roger. This is Bushmaster 7, Roger, engage.
Oh no.
Clear. Come on. Clear. Clear. Coming around clear. Roger. Trying to, Clear. Roger, I lost him in the... I got him. I'm firing.
George, this is Bushmaster 4. You got any BDA on that truck, over?
You're clear. This is, Crazy Horse, stand by. Shooting for some reason. Go ahead. I think the van's disabled. Go ahead and shoot it. I got an azimuth limit for some reason. Left. Clear left. Alright, Bushmaster Crazy Horse 1-8. A vehicle appears to be disabled. There was approximately 4 to 5 individuals in vehicle moving bodies. Your lead, Bradley, should take the next right. That's cruising east down the road. No more shooting.
And this is all confirmed that they fucked up, right?
What?
It's like confirmed that they fucked up, right? Completely.
No. They got away with everything.
Oh, but what I mean is that it's confirmed they killed like civilians that were completely unarmed, right?
Like sorta. I mean, in the way. Nah, I don't know.
You have a van in the middle of the road with about 12 to 15 bodies. Oh yeah, look at that, right through the windshield. Alright, there was approximately 4 to 5 individuals in that truck, so I'm counting about 12 to 15. I'd say that's a fairly accurate assessment so far. Oh, roger that.
One, just be advised, 6 is, dispatch 6 are getting...
Roger, we'll be standing by here.
Viper 5-2 radio.
Yes, Viper 5-2 departing zone 208 for zone 4. We call frequency.
I just drove over a body.
Ready?
Yeah.
Viper 5-2, report free change zone 4.
Maybe it was a visual.
Frequency.
I just drove over a body.
Ready?
Yeah.
Viper 5-2, report free change zone 4.
Damn.
Roger, we'll be standing by here.
Hey, I need to get the brass to drop ramps. I got a wounded girl. We need to take the rough.
And it's just like, go fuck yourself. They're just playing this role play shit. They're like, oh fuck, like they ever stood a chance. All they even thought that was going after them, even for a second, was a rocket launcher that ended up and clearly was, and the entire time, a camera. Like, that was all because one guy aimed a camera.
02, free change crew zone 1.
Bushmaster 6, Hotel 26, over.
Hotel 26, this is Bushmaster 7. Roger, come to our location.
Okay, Roger, we're moving up north on Gaddens, and then we will push east to your location.
And the woman who leaked this, as soon as this came out, they were like, okay, well, we are going to figure out who you are. And they got all of the money in the U.S. military to figure out who the WikiLeaks were. It took them like a month, but they figured it out. And nothing really happened, and she, for pointing at it and making it clear, she got 3 years in prison.
What the fuck?
It's crazy, and it's crazy that she got out because the owner of WikiLeaks is still in prison for leaking this information. Because we do not want people to know that we ever made a mistake. They're down there like, okay, thank God we've secured the perimeter. Thank God everything's safe. We just mowed down like 8 people in the blink of an eye.
You don't know. I don't know how the children were hurt. What the fuck? What do you mean you don't know how?
It just sounds so shady.
Roger. Break. Crazy Horse 1-8. Request permission to engage. Picking up the wounded.
I mean, that's just straight up. That's just straight up lying. I don't know how they were hurt. What do you mean?
It's a war crime.
Crazy Horse 1-8.
It is a war crime, and that's what I'm saying, dude, is that it's like, I don't mean to go full on, like, you know, crazy person, but they can just, like, it's just crazy. It's crazy that I even know who a person like Ben Shapiro is when there's things like this going on. Like, the fact that we're not even talking about fucking bathrooms and shit in schools. It's just like, there can be different problems, but oh my god, these people can just get away with murder. And not only can they get away with murder, but so many people still have that thing of like, these fucking terrorists. Tucker Carlson was on the news talking about these dirt hole countries You know, he called them like Tucker Carlson called like Iraqi people like mud people 5 years ago, and now he has like the biggest news show on cable television.
No, you know me, I stay pretty neutral on this stuff. But
Yeah,
just
yeah,
going off of
that-
just going off of
Yeah,
like this.
that's why I wanted to show it to you, is because this has to be a W in my book.
No, I mean definitely like going off of this, what you showed me. I don't think there's any more to that. Going off of this, there's not really a way to be neutral about it. Consider if everything is how it was put, like there were a group of people that were just filming. It was just a film crews from Reuters, and you know, I'm just saying like if everything is how it was stated in the video, I mean, there's no defending that.
And that's what that's like it's almost like when you say like you're neutral, it makes sense, and it's something that I can understand, because it implies like if given to meritably like equitable, like one isn't a monkey and the other person is and the other one's like Albert Einstein, two sides that have clearly gotten there because of things that they really truly believe, you know, beyond the shadow of a doubt, then everything needs to be really looked at carefully. But when these people on like the far, like, where at least I know I'm free, like when those people, they see like any two decisions as like, if there is a versus, it means that either of those are like inherently of the same merit. But that just rises up all sorts of other issues. Because it's like, I mean, it's a huge, crazy example, but it's just like that thing that I've talked about before. It's like, shoot a kid in the head or don't shoot a kid in the head.
Yeah,
it's like
not really, there's no middle ground on that.
Yeah, but if you say, but it's like all the shit that they did, like that's really simplifying it. But I feel like a lot of their work rhetorically, with the way that the right can be bad, has to do with like changing the words around an argument to even you know, to act as though this is something that could even be versed. And then when you go, this is no argument, you're horrible, they're like, well, you just don't want to debate, or like or just crazy, just like, or you know, it's insane. It's insane. I love debating, but this is just it's crazy to me that I honestly think that there should I honestly kind of think that there should be like a secession. It would never work, but constantly 50% of everyone believes something completely different about how the way the world works.
And that's why I stay neutral on a lot of shit, because a lot of it has to do with opinions. It's just when you get factual stuff that like that video, that's where I can't stay middle ground, because I mean there's no middle ground to that. They just fucking lit up a bunch of civilians with cameras for no fucking reason, but believing that they had weapons, but that's not a good rationale.
Exactly. Yeah, not at all. Especially when they just literally were like no threat to you.
Yeah, like I think you have a gun, so I'm gonna fucking destroy you, like that.
And you're fucking everybody you've ever loved.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then just it's like obviously it doesn't make like what they did even if they were like, oh geez, but just the fact that it was some Tyler named motherfucker in there that was like, huh, I got him.
Damn.
Shit, bastard. It's just it's like. It is. Yeah, it is. Ethan showed that to me because I was like, I know Chelsea Manning is like trans and like, isn't she like something to do with prison or something? And he was like, dude, like I know it was weird. There was this like theme over all of it that was like, I know, you know, I'm Ethan and I know I'm Ethan and I know I'm about to sit you down and put on a video, but I promise this is insane.
And I mean, that was fucking.
It's crazy. My mouth was like, I mean, I'm more sensitive to that stuff now. I can watch somebody just explode on the freeway, but just like the setup of all of it, the website even itself, you click, you know, you can't get to it without hearing the chilling phrase "collateral murder."
I
And you
mean,
sit and watch, it's all edited, and it's just like, holy god.
I'm pretty jaded, so that didn't really affect me in like a horrible like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that
I mean,
happened.
I'm not like
I'm pretty
traumatized,
yeah.
but
I'm
I'm
like,
kind of like pissed off. Like, I mean, not in a way where I can do anything about it, but I just the fucking the just hip the hip the hypocrisy of the way that they. It's weird. I'm finding myself like almost confused as to how to just say they're right or something because I don't want to just act like everybody is just inherently terrible. But I think I can like. I would pretty like. I think people can be ignorant, but like anyone who's like militant, like pro-military state, is just like that is maybe a side, but please go fuck yourself.
I mean, I
Right.
can't. Yeah, I can't like agree with that because
Yeah.
that's where it comes down to
Yeah.
opinions. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
plenty
There's
of
a lot
great
of stuff
people
that
in the
people don't, and
military.
there's, of course, and there's a lot of stuff that people don't know about that stuff. And when I say, I'm not even saying that a military force is a problem. I'm saying, like, when I say, like, militant, I mean, like, like, fascism enforced, I guess. I mean, fascism is already kind of a thing that's fascism because it's enforced, but just the idea of, like, we pick this set of things that makes sense and that it is right and we won't bat an eye at you for, but if you do these things or you look this way or you're different in this way, that's also kind of boiling it down. But just anyone that is that anyone who doesn't stop and goes like, okay, well, that's like a life. Like, I'll even argue about like the death penalty. It's like they're going to be locked away in jail for the rest of their lives. Anything else is just kind of like, you're just kind of given this weird diet life. An eye for an eye does kind of leave the whole world blind, but it's also like this is a crazy person that is like making the world worse by being around. I don't know, and I'm not for it, but I like wouldn't be like you are a murderer. If somebody was like just casually like about the
There's
death penalty.
there's definitely
But
some people that I think deserve the death penalty,
yeah, exactly.
like
And
pedophiles.
I would be hard pressed to disagree with you because you are right. But but when it comes to where was I even going with that? Oh yeah, but when it comes to just like legitimately that good old fashioned like this ethic and this ethic and this ethic from the Bible and this historical thing that we've remembered from this historical thing from this historical thing, just leading to general predispositions. I guess it's almost like what I'm trying to say is I don't like anyone that's mean.
But
But
just like
but the amount of that mean people and terrible evil people can take what they do, and like in media it's always discussed as that everything is always handled like there's this nice hippie and they're all sweet, but oh they're fuddy duddy and oh they don't really they can't be get a job you dang hippie. And then there's like this like oh like I like love America and yada yada yada, and I'm like I just feel like there needs to be more attention paid to the how calm evil can like seem. Like nobody's gonna make a manifesto that's like yeah, basically the whole thing is just that we just are just trying to do the most messed up stuff ever.
going back,
Like
going
everybody
back.
thinks that they're totally on the ball, and then you'll see what that ball is, and it's something that's like just terrible.
Yeah. Going back real quick, I just wanted to kind of say, like, when it comes to political parties, left and right, there are people on the right that are anti-government that don't just like
Yeah,
fall into like, oh, I want a heavy military state and all that shit. There's a lot of people on the right that just want to like be left alone in their wooden cabin with a rifle to hunt deer
yeah,
and shit like that.
yeah,
So that's
yeah,
why I'm kind of like, it's not really fair to say that people on the
I'll
right are
say,
all like
yeah.
that because everybody's. That's why I get neutral about that shit. 'Cause it's like everybody has their own prerogatives and opinions and wants to do what they want to do. And a lot of people on the right do value like freedom of speech and shit like that. So I can't be against people on the right. Just like the way I can't be against people. The same way I can't be against people on the left because a lot of them just want like, I want equality and I want freedom of expressionism and shit like that. And then you got people on the right
that are like they're reacting to things that like are terrible, and like it's always like, yeah, that makes sense. I can see how that's terrible, but they are more reactive. So it's like
it's just that's why I don't get to that.
I mean, I'm pretty radical. I'm pretty radical as far as like my beliefs go, I guess, which might be kind of hypocrite. I don't know. I think I don't think things should be like exterminated, I guess, so to speak. But I feel like there's like a pretty, at least, and it's hit like no, like anyway. As soon as you say that, it's like okay. But I just think, and I don't think that there should be any sort of like super. What is it? I don't think that there should be some sort of like. I wish that libertarians would become the new right, because the right in its current state just literally, I mean, if we're just talking like right, Mitch McConnell, not like motherfuckers who maybe want to be in their cabin who'd pick Donald Trump over Joe Biden, which is a lot of people, but like people on the right that are just, and nowadays the right has just shifted. I said like Mitch McConnell, the fucking ugly ass dude. They're just the nowadays it has just shifted to what is like just so clearly just the lack of wanting to believe information, like just the I almost like, to me, you bridge that line between like a thing that can be argued because there's two sides, the shooting the kid, not shooting the kid in the face thing. To me, like the middle thing that makes some people confused because nothing about it, I guess, is like violent, obviously, is just believing shit that is not. Like Donald Trump totally just lost the election in the way that he always does. Well, not always does, but in the way that people always do. And there was no significant amount of tampering that would have even made a difference between a margin of even like thousands and thousands and thousands. It is just completely not real. And the reason that I've grown so radical is not because I just like think that all these people are just like dumb hillbillies, but it is just like factually the case that so many, I feel like lesser and lesser these days do I hear a person who's like, yeah, this thing about taxes, and they like go to church so they believe in God, but, and I believe they exist, but less and less I hear like, oh yeah, Donald Trump is like a little nuts. For me, it started as soon as he was the only pick. As soon as he was the only pick for that primary, and after every single person that could have said exactly what he was saying and could have done exactly the same things he was doing and not just been a completely compromised person ethically, they just were like, no. They just were like, nuh-uh, because he's going to come in, and he just, like, the amount recently that they've been holding on to this, like, conspiratorial thing, where they're like, well, actually this. Like, they're like, don't trust the CDC, and you're like, okay, well, I'm throwing that out. I don't have anything to trust now. What do you recommend I trust? And it's like, whoa, well, here's Uncle Fred's podcast of the week. It's like, it's like I'm literally just using, the only, I'm not saying that the government is perfect, but I'm using the only information that I know to at all be provable.
Oh yeah, I mean that's bias confirmation, like 100%.
Yeah.
It's I don't want to believe you, so I'm gonna listen to someone that I agree and believe because he tells me what I already believe.
But I'm saying I think that's like, but my issue is the fact that I think that's like, yeah, like, and I don't think it's even a stretch to say that that's like 40% of now like everyone of like everyone. In at least everyone in the Republican Party, but like probably everyone on like a population level in the United States, they just believe this very clearly thing that's clearly not true thing by this very big and brassy guy who gets them all worked up and says these exact words that they go crazy about and American flags, and it's just it has fishy written all fucking over it. It just feels so like ugh. So to me, then I think that like once you get to the point of like having to be like, well, his taxes or something. I'm just always like, yeah, but like this dude, even if he's not even meaning it, even if this is how people are interpreting a thing he's saying. Just the fact that so many people in America just do not, they already didn't trust it, and then he just oh my god, everything with the Capitol riots. Like they could just go in there and do that, and they wouldn't be considered terrorists. Just fucking.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't pay a whole lot of attention to that stuff. So, well, I mean, technically, I know all about it. I don't. I don't form an opinion because it's just people being fucking people to me. All of it, even with the fucking. That's kind of just the way I rationalize most of that shit. Like, even with the fucking military thing, it's like, well, that just proves that people are shitty. So.
Yeah. But I don't know. But none of that stuff ever ends up like to me, like, it's just. Like, to me, as soon as something like that happens, I guess in my head I can think like well, obviously there were people who were just doing their job and they figured out that this crazy thing happened, and like technically they're not the whole military. But I see like stuff like this add up, and I'm like, okay, well, this has happened enough for it to be a problem. Even if we keep the military or the police or this or that or the other, even if it isn't, even if I know the good and damn well that not every cop that's on the road is like really like, how can I be evil today? I feel like I see enough of these things happen that I feel like I see enough of these things happen that it's at least fair to say that it's a problem. And to that, I say it's shameful, and I think then less of these industries because there is nothing being done about that problem. Apart from like, oh, we'll promise we'll train them for like a little longer this time. You know, just like I don't like the zero that it feels like people are getting back, and like bullshit like companies posting Black Lives Matter shit on their fucking Twitter feeds. This crazy dystopian shit. I just think that if enough of that stuff happens, even if the idea of what this group is, military or cop or whatever it might be, if enough of that stuff happens, there is at least like, well, a person's dead, so there, even if it's just with this thing or this thing, it's like there is generally a problem. So for people to say like, hey, look at that dead guy, I have a problem with this, and to even like the goal to say back like, well, you know, that's why I like that Blue Lives Matter shit is like ridiculous, because it's just like legitimate. It's just legitimately like it is just legitimately. I mean, that's just what they do.
Their name.
It's like it is a diss.
Their name, yeah, I think their name is stupid, but I don't think their idea is.
I don't know. I mean, in the way, like, yeah, obviously, no one killing like dead cops are wrong. Like, it's just conservatives just have such, and I'm just being a little unabashed here, but conservatives just have like no sense of like context. Like they think that when people are like Black Lives Matter, like they just were chilling and nothing happened, and they were suddenly like, only these lives matter.
Well, that's just
like, maybe these are more important right now.
To me, that's like a generalization that most people that are heavily involved in politics do. So you got people that say, "Oh, Black Lives Matter, you're a part of that." Well, you're just trying to riot and break shit and steal shit. Same way where people say, "Oh, you're part of Blue Lives Matter." Well, you just want to kill black people. It's just
But
generalizations.
I don't think that would want to kill black people would be the opposite of.
Well, what would you say is
Like,
the
I don't-
generalization about Blue Lives
I would
Matter?
say Blue Lives Matter is my issue with Blue Lives Matter is that it's taking something that originated from the brutalization and the death of the black people, and it like to me, Blue Lives Matter sounds like if the two sides were like an argument. It sounds like someone like I've heard someone use the example like it's like if your house was on fire. It's like if somebody's like it's like if your house was on fire and you ran out and you're not and you ran out and you were like, oh my god, my fucking house is on fire. Like this is really really fucked up. And somebody like was just showed up and was like hey like something needs to be done about my house. Oh my god, it's on fire. And somebody shows up and they're like, hey, like I have like a house too. And my house has caught on fire before. It's just like, yeah, but even if you don't agree that with the Black Lives Matter that they're in a situation in which their quote unquote house is on fire, even if you don't believe that, I feel like it takes like some amount of ignorance to see somebody who is clearly like, oh my god, like people that at least believe that like a very horrible injustice has happened on the hands of racism, those people I would happen to agree with. It's when you have people that think that and then the alternative feels as though the important thing right now is to say like, but hey, like let's not be too hard on them, guys. They matter too. Like it just involves like it's against the not maybe police just in general. Even though yeah, I guess you can make that argument. Black Lives Matter could be more organized, but I don't think it's but I think it's just a thing against the police institution. So when you're like, hey, this systemic thing in this case, in this case, in this case, in this case, and then Blue Lives Matter is like, yeah, but bad things happen to cops too. I don't know if you've ever heard that. It's like, yeah, but we are talking about like Breonna Taylor,
More
George
specifically,
Floyd,
more
all these
specifically,
things.
my point was that generalizations are made about every groups of these people. So it's like, you know, people will just assume all the bad shit
But
that's
their
made
thought-
about the
but their
generalization.
thought, like their thought cattle. I mean, unless you're talking about these things kind of just as general like sayings that people then apply like either a cop related or a race related meaning to it. I'm speaking strictly about the idea of like Black Lives Matter like in pen and paper, like being like a protest movement that was started because of the increasing amounts of police brutality that was being seen on a regular basis, that was in the justice system, were just being essentially thrown out. And the linking thing in all these cases is the fact that it's just there's just examples of within like the damn near the justice system itself. And even when it got to the point where if you were even lucky to see a courtroom, and the idea that they're taking like this long-seated thing that these people are rising above, even if in disagreement with it, to take that and to be like, and to just read that as like when people say all lives matter, it's just like, weird. It's weird how the statement "all lives matter"
undermines
just
Black
grown to
Lives
feel
Matter.
like so exactly
Yeah, I
because
know.
it makes it as though you're saying it's like only that, and that's completely removing like all context about anything. It's just like they think some black person stood up, threw a brick through the building, and pretended that racism existed all of a sudden. So then they're like, well, I think all, because all is more than one. But it's like, yeah, but like flowers are awesome. That doesn't mean that like, I'll say that if somebody's like, I'm gonna fucking throw this flower on the ground. Don't do that. Flowers are awesome. If they were like, well, bugs are cool too. It's just like fucking within like the radicals of both of those sides. Obviously, blue lives do matter.
That's my main point. Is that
Yeah.
I'm not disregarding any of these groups. I think Blue Lives Matter's name is very like dumb because it's taken from the Black Lives Matter movement thing.
Yeah.
I
So
think
it
that
sounds like it's
it sounds like it's
reasonable.
all lives
It
matter trying
sounds
to
like a
undermine it.
punch. Yeah.
But at the same, I'm not against Blue Lives Matter because its core idea is that the lives of cops do matter as well. So I'm not.
Yeah.
That's
And
why I'm
they're
not
all,
against it.
cop killings. Yeah, exactly.
So
But I will, to me, I think I'm against the kind of person that I would see. I know good and damn well what the kind of person that would actively and seeing, maybe no, I wouldn't flame up anybody. Maybe some old guy, I'd be like, oh, whatever. Yeah, they're gonna think the police are doing God's work. But whenever I see like anyone under the age of like 40 or 50, especially 30, and they are doing that, and you can just, it's like, well, was someone like, hey, do you like cops, one day, and they were like, yeah, I guess, and they were like, well, you should wear this hat to prove it, and it's like, okay, it's like, what's more believable? It's like that, or like they like scroll around on TikTok and they watch like liberals getting destroyed compilations, and they see like all like the riot videos, and it's like, from being in that before, I just remember how quickly you can get sucked in, and I feel like,
well, you say that like it's a negative thing. And if you believe it's a negative thing, then these things apply to all the groups.
I believe that it's a negative thing from the perspective that, like, if we are to agree, like, just metaphorically, not if we are to argue the idea based on, if we were to argue the idea based on like it clearly kind of being used as like a, not like, well, they do, but rather like a, well they do too, on the, I feel like it's not, given everything, I don't feel like it's as much of a generalization to assume that the people that would actively go out and represent themselves with things like this, that's my issues. I look at the people that are within it and whether or not they're just kind people that think that the police are doing a good job and they like really need to. I look at that stuff and I pair it with the general angst that they have against. I see, and not even from random motherfuckers on Twitter either, just like the candidates, like the cabinet members. It's just members of the Supreme Court that are going out on television and talking about, like, literally speaking in a room on national television. They're talking about like how they need to do something about like this woke PC culture. And it's just like, dude, get off of like fucking 2018 YouTube.
But like,
it's just like the most like
what
it's
I
like
mean,
that it's like, that's the people who wear those hats. That's like the fucking, I maybe don't technically know, but I don't think someone was like, do you like a cop? Oh, well, this is it.
the thing about it is that all this that you're saying can be applied to multiple groups, not just one.
But in saying that, you're taking out the idea that, going back to like the shooting the kid in the face thing, I feel like you're taking out the idea that a group can, because of how they react, be delegitimized in some sense, in the sense of like at least a debate,
Okay.
whether or not
You can
they
delegitimize multiple groups then based on that, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you have an issue with a
but
group,
sometimes it would be like, I don't know how to say it without sounding like it's an opinion, but sometimes it would be like if you just know the beliefs of those groups and how they hold themselves, or at least where those people are coming from.
that's a generalization.
I think things can be more correct or not correct for people to like it. Blue Lives Matter. It is very. It is like almost. It's pretty clear that you can make the argument that is a like a movement like that is existing in retroactively from a protest that's happening because black people are being killed and racism exists, to take that and to use it and create terms to actively it's just like, let's be real, to like actively kind of just like put that down and to say like a comma, well, but then. And, like, I feel like that to me is like a smaller scale shooting the kid in the head, because it's like these people are literally just protesting, and you guys are like clamoring to prove that these people are overreacting. I think that the idea, like, to have a side for the negativity, I guess, rather for the detriment of a side that is just trying to, that is just like, I guess you could say something that's that vague about anything, but it's like Blue Lives Matter was created in tandem with that, because it felt as though Black Lives Matter was in some way inherently saying that like all cops should just die.
Okay, but my point is that all these groups have done fucked up things. Even Black Lives Matter, they've made fucking mistakes. So to hold one, but
it's nowhere near like you. But that's what I'm saying is to hold. They're both technically two sides, and they both do have some mistakes. But to hold like the horribly flawed justice system that we have in this country, and the increasingly radicalized conspiratorial mindset of the people that enforce it, and how angsty and upset that they're growing about just speaking out in general about it. To me, it's like the United States justice system versus like a protest with an aim on it. And it's not about like weird gender stuff. It's not about like abortions or it's about like literally like, yeah, there's this video, and there's still motherfuckers that are like, well, he was on drugs. I see so much of that shit. Not even like looking at this.
Wait. Because I don't disagree with the core idea of Black Lives Matter. I'm just saying that members of the group in a lot of these fucking groups, you could even say with Blue Lives Matter, with the kid that shot the people and during that protest. I'm not exactly against him on that, because I think it was self-defense. But you know, most of these fucking groups have killed people. Is my point.
But that's not. But the
core ideas I don't disagree with.
Can be inherent, but the core idea that you have of Blue Lives Matter implies that, I feel like, is a little reliant on the fact that there is somebody who would be ignorant about where the terminology like comes from. Like, at least people in Black Lives Matter are realizing like, hey, no, we're taking a stand because this person was killed. But with Blue Lives Matter, the ideology of that is just
ignorant about the terminology of what? I've already acknowledged that it originated from the Black Lives Matter movement.
Not you being ignorant, but just it's like I feel like to say like, well, it's just both two sides and they both killed people, and to look at it as a thing where it's like, well, it could be either or it's neutral, or it's either way, because there, I can see that this side has done something bad, and I can see that this side has done something bad. I think then you'd have to like look at like those groups' fundamentals, and I think that in that light, a horribly flawed justice system that has been brewed out of a country that we pretend didn't exist. It's like the 50s, and then nothing before that, and everything was fine, and then Martin Luther came around and waved a magical wand, and all the racism was gone. And it's to compare like the horribly flawed, uneducated justice system, not everywhere, but in way too many places, as evidenced by these incidences of racism and police brutality, to compare like such a systemic thing. And I know it's a buzzword, but it's just like, it's been around for a while, and even if you're dumb, I'm sure it's like even if you're even if you are just some dude working at a desk. Those laws and the way that the infrastructure of that thing was created, when we know it used to be, when pretty much everyone could agree that like shit used to be really, really, really bad in America. Even if you are just that next generation that's sitting and working in that desk, so I feel like conservatives operate on the idea that those two things happened with like a very hard split in between, or like some PowerPoints, and all these more like quote unquote radical left groups are trying to do when they're talking about like critical race theory or all these other scary things is to just realize that like the way that there's like no way. It's almost weird. It's like in some way we're recognizing tradition as well. We're just upset at it because we are just realizing that there's like no way that this stuff could have just been completely separate from where we are now. That like none of these traits, none of these ideas, none of these family understandings, none of that stuff, none of that stuff stuck around. At some point, some liberal got their hands on it and they made it just absolutely perfect, and now there's like it. I feel like that's the stuff that we should focus on. I feel like so when people are like, hey, here is more evidence of these ghosts within your thing, what the fuck? To be like, to just, I feel like all the evidence on the side of the right is just like, well, here's a video of you guys doing something bad too, and here's a video of this, oh, look at this small little thing, and you like through it's like all that stuff is inherently terrible to do. But
well, a lot of it's point counterpoint. I mean,
but
that's just how things
there
go.
Is not a 100-year-long flawed that everyone has to agree started very, very racist. Police officers used to fucking like hunt slaves, and we just used to have slaves. It's like I just feel like there's a jump in conservatism where it's just like, they didn't like that, and they didn't like that, and they didn't like that, and then at some point it was just okay. And racist, we're not racist anymore. And
yeah, you have to acknowledge that the liberals also do this kind of stuff.
I can't
not with racism.
Stand liberals. I can't stand liberals.
But that's more okay. That's on you. But that's why I really don't get into politics, is because these situations and groups are just too complex. Like, you can see their core idea, their motto, whatever the fuck they put out there. It's like, okay, I agree with that. That sounds great. But then it gets fucking convoluted in the way they interact with other groups, and then, oh, this one side did this, and then this one side did this, but this side took a stand here and did this shit, and then these people did this shit, and it's like, okay, I can't even be fucked. I'm, like, too concerned with myself. I don't care about this kind of shit. I'm like, whatever.
I guess that is I guess that's like a better way to and maybe, I guess it's like a fear thing, but for me it's just all about like systems. Like, I see the police system, and then I see like individuals, and it's just like, the idea that it's the systems that are the problem. Because in my own head, and I guess where it comes down to, I feel like I could pull up this or that and the other, but in my head, I just struggle to see where what big enough change has occurred to make Black Lives Matter just so ridiculous that it would warrant having any amount of like a Me Too about like, oh, well, blue lives matter. Oh, well, all lives matter. I just feel like that inherently shows a lack of understanding of the context. And then just to kind of dog on them a little bit for fun, then you look at the kind of people that conservatives are, and it's just they're predominantly like Christian. They're predominantly like.
Yeah, don't get me started on Christians, because I
thought about religious.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And this group that could just go either way it also just believes in this fucking dude in the sky, and low-key thinks you should too, or you're gonna burn in hell.
That's one group that I will actually fucking roast.
But they are, but these people all are. They pretty much damn near all are. They don't all go to church, but they still the way that
Not that I think that all
the
Christians are
right
stupid.
comes from the tradition in the right is like Judeo-Christian values, and that to me that's the problem.
It's not to say that I think that Christians are all fucking stupid, but they have some definite. If they follow the Bible the way they say they do, then they have some fucked up issues that they need to resolve before pointing at the brown men in the sand. So.
Exactly. Because it's just, it's crass because it's like believe whatever you want to believe. But to me, it's just, and without trying to like tip my fedora about it or anything cringe, it's like legit just, it's not real. There's no way to prove it's real. I know your mom read it to you. I know you went to the church building and heard the first live performance of music you ever heard in your life, and it made your heart flicker, and you thought you were getting the whole. I know all that stuff. I know you're worried about burning in hell, and I also know I can't say anything to you because it's not even up for debate like everything in life should be. If both parties are consenting, it's not even up to debate for you because part of the whole belief in general is that you're like not allowed not to believe it.
I think a lot of that shit that infuriates me. It's like you can believe whatever fuck you want. Like with all of this shit, I don't care. I believe what I believe, and I'm gonna stick to what I believe, and no one's gonna stop me from doing anything I want. That's why I don't get into politics. But I think the fucking infuriating part about Christianity to me, you know, is the part where they'll just whisk it away by the Bible. It's like, oh, my brother has cancer.
Exactly.
My brother has cancer, but like, oh, you know, he'll pray to God every night and he'll get through the battle. It'll be a long battle, but he'll pray to God and God will get him through it. And then next week his fucking brother's dead. It's like, well, thanks. Like, if God exists, if God exists,
well, God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, exactly.
God must have had a plan for his angel, and it's like, no, dude, keep your fucking weird lore out of my dead brother.
Yeah, it's like Modest Mouse has a perfect song about this called Bukowski. It's like, you know, if God exists, then he's such a fucking control freak.
Yeah.
and for him to allow some of these things to happen, and he works in mysterious ways, he's also kind of an asshole. I know they talk about Bukowski being the asshole, but if God exists, he's a fucking control freak and an asshole.
It's totally, and that's what it's like. Literally, there are so many things in the Bible where as soon as you'd get to a thing where you're like, well, why this? Like, what the hell? There's something. It's either he has a path or whatever, and there's also, by the way, there's 80 of these different denominations, and also this was written by a man named King James. Go look him up. You can see his picture. He's just a straight up ass dude. He picked and chose the different things that were in it. The only other one that was written by the only scripture that was written by a woman that has been damn near proven with legitimate. It's just there's no reason that this lady's random fairy tale story about meeting this dude wouldn't be in there. They translated, there's a whole documentary that just came out, because a lot of people say like, oh, the Bible doesn't really say, like liberals have been saying like, oh, the Bible actually is like, or like picky Christians have been like, the Bible says being gay is cool. But this documentary either is coming out or just came out that's literally like a complete, it's like a complete dive into the verse that makes Christians think that being gay is a sin, and like what it was translated from, what like the culture in that meant then, and it basically confirms that like, yo, this just straight up means like don't be a pedophile. Man should not lay with boy. Yeah. Like clearly indicating age. And then it shows all of this stuff that things just are like this now because that guy wrote it like that because he sucked.
There's so many contradictions in the Bible, like treat thy neighbor the way thou shalt be treated. And then it's man on man is an abomination. It's like, well, what if my neighbor is gay? How am I supposed to treat him? Because he's an abomination. But
exactly.
like, do
but
I
the
just treat
idea
him with
that
kindness?
like he could have been saying or not saying any of that,
Yeah.
and we had to trust whether or not King James said it was true. Thousands and thousands and thousands. I don't know if I'd be more likely to believe it now. But like, but fucking the idea that's just insane. It is so. I get maybe thinking that someone had the idea that when we sneeze, or we should close our eyes because our body knows not to get the shit. So maybe someone designed us, or maybe the universe is like, oh fucking whatever, yada yada yada. The fact that the predominant thing is that there was this guy named Jesus, and he was on this cross, and there was Adam and Eve, and there was this magical apple and a snake. And it's just like, are you kidding me? This is crazy. The fact that it's so specific, it's not even just a general feeling. They all of these people, most people in America, just specifically believe in a man named Jesus who had magical powers a long time ago.
Yeah, there's a lot of there. I mean, there are like, I don't know. I've heard, and I don't know this for a fact. I've heard that Jesus was a real person. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like actual historic.
He's kind of cool.
He's a pretty cool guy. Cool Jesus.
And he's also, that's what's super fucked up, is that he's also like not white at all. He is just not white at all. That man is either mixed, I can't even, Egyptian, I don't know. I don't know enough to really like know
Brown,
straight up. But he is literally brown, and when they were making the Jesus shit, they were like, let's not make him brown, because I don't
big,
like
beautiful
people
white boy.
Yeah, because I don't like it. I don't really like it when people look brown.
Brown's not a good look on people. Let's make it white.
Yeah, I agree with that. Mary and John and Joseph, like it's just, and then it happened, and now it is. We fucking showed up to North America on inhabited land, and we were like, "Hey, this is India." And they were like, no, it isn't. And we just kept calling them Indians because we just wanted to.
Yeah.
That shit is just, that is like my main thing of just like, okay, anytime that a motherfucker thinks that they can just get away with shit through force of will and governmental power. That's why I can't stand liberals, is that they're just doing all the things the conservatives are doing, but they're not held back at all ethically by the Bible. Mm-hmm. They're just like, oh, well, I'll do everything underneath the table because I don't believe in your sky thing, but I do love money.
And just to say, like, real quick, like I was saying, I don't hate people that believe in the Bible. It's just when they enforce that Bible on other. Like, if that I think it's stupid. But if that gets you through the day, personally. if praying to what you believe is God at the end of the night gets you through the fucking day, do it. I don't care. Do whatever the fuck you want. Like a lot of this shit, it's just like, to me, it's dumb. So
it's like me personally. I think it's dumb. I think it's almost very dumb. But if someone's just chill, I'll be like, it's just like, oh yeah, gets you through the day is a good way to describe it, because it's just like, you know, it's hard enough, you know. And I
mean, some people just can't.
Religions.
That's something that I heard all the time, because you know we lived in the South. People are like, oh, you know, but if you don't believe in God and you die, do you know what's gonna happen on the other side? I know I'm going to heaven. So it makes me feel comfortable. It's like, you know, if I don't care what happens when I die, because under my understanding, nothing's gonna happen, so I won't know it. It'll be like blinking my eyes. I will have my eyes open and then they'll be closed, and I won't have to think about it. There's nothing that happens afterwards.
In some way, that is the ultimate peace.
Yeah.
There isn't shit you have to worry about, not even existence. Like, and then that's and you say that like you started that off as like it's like then midway through an argument, like you're gonna, like, when I die I know I'm gonna, in most of those cases in which they would even be getting to that level of like discussion, you'd just be like sitting there. Like in most of those cases it's like most of the time the inciting incident is like, oh no, I'm sorry, I don't believe in that. Oh no, I am gay. And then they're like, well, and then 5 minutes later, they've already said death, murder, dying on the cross. It just sounds like witch shit.
Well,
And
you're
who's
going to
say-
hell
yeah.
if you don't believe. Well, I don't believe in hell, so I'm not worried.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw this like there's like this atheist TikTok woman that I follow, and she posted this thing, and this comment was like, but like how like could like God like not be like real if you're like probably some kid. How could God like not be real if like angels like came down and like said that, you know? And she replied to it, and she was like, how could the Easter Bunny not be real if Santa Claus told me he was?
Doesn't the Bible like disregard dinosaurs completely?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, real. If that's what's crazy is that like honestly, really serious. They've forgotten about it because that's what these fucking traditionalists do. Is whenever things just get weird, and you don't want to look weird because that's the real problem. Whenever things get weird to not support or to be openly against, then they just kind of conveniently like forget that that was ever a thing. But conservatives, not conservatives. Christians shouldn't believe in dinosaurs. And they do. And it's not weird for conservatives, for Christians. Oh, whatever. Fuck it. It's not weird for Christians to go into school now and learn about dinosaurs because everyone knows that just dinosaurs are real and it would be crazy if you didn't think that they were. But it's also like, if you really listen to what they're saying, they technically don't believe in that. And kids used to get pulled out of school for it. I knew a girl who was a Latter-day Saint, and she couldn't sit in through half the fucking sessions in the science class because anytime we talk about like anything that was like, at all interesting, history or history, I guess, it would just be no.
That sounds like a form of child abuse.
It is a form of child. I think it is. To go there, I mean, like, whatever, maybe bring your kids to church. I'm not saying stop going to church because you have a kid. But again, one of those personal things, me personally, bro, I'm not bringing my kid to a fucking, like, place that looks like that. Everybody all old, singing, like, he will come and he will give you. And it's just, it's
Drink your bread and wine, but it's actually grape juice, child.
yeah.
It's like,
No, yeah, exactly.
You're just going. You should just let me drink the fucking wine if you're trying to be like traditional about this shit.
Exactly. They're like, drink his blood, and you're like, ugh. And they're like, no, it's wine. And you're like, well, I don't want that right now. It's Sunday.
Sunday.
It's like, no, it's grape juice. It's like, dude, just stop lying.
Give me the fucking wine if you're gonna be legit about this shit.
Exactly. By this point, I'd rather have the wine.
Straight up, man. Oh my god, I've been to some fucking. Those sermons make you want some wine. I've been to a couple of them just for fun.
Oh, same.
I went to the
used
fucking
to go to youth like every Wednesday.
Well, I know you did. Yeah, that was when you were like believed in Christianity. and
God,
stuff.
bro, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sitting over here with my titties out.
You shouldn't do that at work.
No, I don't. One time I realized that I had like a button unbuttoned and none of them know yet.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love. I love like the draw. Like it just feels like I have my own like little Breaking Bad thing going on.
Breaking Bad, like you're undercover, doing some shit.
Like here and there, I'll try and leave like hints or whatever. I can't think of a hint. I've been like almost like wanting to like ask people, but I don't want to sound like a sociopath. What do you think is like a thing that I could say is an accident?
I think you like the attention. There's nothing wrong with that.
I love attention. Yeah, I love attention.
I kind of hate that people like just vindicate these things like, oh, well, you just like attention. Like, I don't like attention, but it's like, what's wrong with wanting attention? What's wrong with that?
I'm not forcing people to. I'm not obsessed, but I like it. I like oranges.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
There's just a bunch of things that people like have this stigma. It's like, oh, well, you like this? What the fuck is wrong with you? It's like, well, what's wrong with the fact that I like this blank? It's like, what? That's not an argument. It's not like a character defamation.
Exactly. And it makes so much conversations like not as neat because there's like this stuff you gotta say if you don't want to look like an asshole and all these different conversations. Like anytime anyone does something cool and someone's like, do you think you're a hero? No one's ever like, yeah. Are you shitting me? I just fucking landed a plane with 50 people on it on the Hudson River. These people would all be dead if it weren't for me.
That's why
I'm a little excited. They have to go, no, I don't consider myself a hero.
That's why
Because-
earlier when you were like trying to like say like, oh, I know this is a buzzword, but blah 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 blah. I was like, nah, just say it. I don't care if it's a buzzword. Buzzwords are
Good.
buzzwords for a reason, because they're good ways of
Because
explaining things.
fucking, that is literally the struggle of my. Because that's the thing is because when I want attention, but when I get it, especially recently, as I've gotten like kind of in myself a little bit, just sitting alone in this weird night world, I've started getting more anxious about like how people will react to the thing that I'm trying to do for attention. So it's like it's like almost like the more I don't talk, the more that the next thing I say is like covered in these like when I came out on Instagram, it was literally me being like, I don't know how I'm gonna write this because I want to be I kind of just want to say it, but I don't want to be disrespectful to the people who don't know. But at the same time, I know a lot of you guys do know. But at the same time, I also want to be prideful, and I don't want to have to feel like I just owe somebody an explanation. But at the same time, and it's like literally a paragraph of that bouncing around, and like 3 sentences of me being like, but like this is just who I am. If like you're not with it, then like fuck off, I guess.
That's
Which so I eventually came around, but I just kept being like ruminating about how people could look at me worse because of the post on a day that I was supposed to be proud. And I'm just it always makes me feel like a bitch right after, bro. I'll still like the fact that I giggled when that dude said the M word. I just like literally I was like, bro, I just would beat my ass.
I don't know. It can be funny.
It can be funny
in the right context.
In the
Like
in the
Boondocks.
right context. It can be funny whether I like it or not. If it catches me off guard, that's what I'll say.
It's just when people like say it to be edgy and there's like no comedic context to it is where it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like these white dudes that just drop the N word when they're fighting each other. It's like 2 white dudes fighting each other. It's like, what's good, N word? But like you got like
something
Boondocks.
kind of racist about it. There's almost something kind of racist. I mean, we're not even kinda, but like it's the saying the M word. Of course, it's racist. But there's like a big thing on TikTok that's kind of blowing up now, and of course, like everybody is like all the white dudes with rooms filled with RGB and like Juice WRLD playing in the background with their basketball shorts on. They like it's a black woman just made this post. It's a thing in the entertainment industry all the time. But this black woman made this post calling out these like really big TikTok creators, and they're like white people. But here and there, they'll make a TikTok where clearly the joke in the TikTok is that they're being dumb. They're on one tonight, and every time they do it, they use like a black scent, and they're like they'll make a video where it's like, "Hey guys, I just got my box in from Home and Garden, and I'm just gonna take a look at it today." And then if they're like out with their friends, it's like, "Hey boy, she be crack for real. She be crack for real." And she was just like, "Why do you always sound like people that look like me when you're being an idiot? Like, why didn't you just pick that by happenstance then when you were talking about the Home and Garden shit? Like, why is it always a thing where, like, when you being dumb, though?" It's like...
I think that's looking a little too hard into it, in my opinion.
Well, I don't think it's... But that's the thing is she was just trying to say... Like, she wasn't even like... Like, she was even like... Like, I like some of these creators. But she was just like, I find it weird that this accent is used primarily, like AAV, African American Vernacular, is used primarily whenever people are kind of trying to, or way too much, I guess, when people are trying to use it to, like, exemplify, like, a dumbass, you know?
Well, I mean, to me, then it'd just be like, alright, find it weird. You're free to find it weird, but...
I mean, it's...
whatever.
That would be racist, then.
How would that be racist?
Because you're, like, going, like, you're using the way that black people talk to like care, like every time you say dumb things, you say it like a black person. It's just like, so because like the logic there is just if you don't do it anywhere else, then the logic there would be like,
I mean, are they doing it
when
like
you're trying to sound dumb?
they're actively doing that?
Yeah, like yes, she pulled up specific examples in which these regular white people, she would like show 90%, like all of the rest of their posts, or a good like 3 or 4 of them, and then it would be a post of them like be trying to be like LOL heckin' random or whatever, where they're like, like
I think to attribute an accent to a skin color is stupid, anyways. Like,
I mean,
there's not.
African American. I mean, there are. That's like a thing that. I mean, it sounds.
That sounds
I
ridiculous
guess, like
to me.
a nice thing to say, but I don't know. Ridiculous. Black people have their own way of talking.
Some do.
Some do, and that's the thing, though, is but that's not getting in the way of the some that don't. To say that some
white people have that same way of talking. Some black people have what you would
Yeah.
consider a white way of
Yeah,
talking.
and
That's
what I'm
why I
saying,
don't
that's what I'm saying.
buy that.
But that's what I'm saying. No. African American vernacular anyone can have.
Yeah.
Like it just means like
Maybe
you
they're
grew
trying to be
up
white
basically in,
trash.
like a ghetto. Yeah, and maybe, but it's just like when it is something that is so like there's not. Yeah, I mean, I guess like wiggas, for lack of a much better term, exist. But when it's something that's just kind of like, come on, let's like be real here. If you're like shit, it's like that is here because of black folks. Maybe you could make an argument about like Cajun shit, but even those people were a lot of black folks, and a lot of it does come from like memes and shit. Like a lot of really funny memes are black people that just so happen to be acting stupid. Like oh shit, oh Jesus, Jesus Christ, oh. But so and a lot of people just grew up with like, oh, it do go down, and so it's just so then they just like do that. But then when so I don't even think it's necessarily like these people are doing anything wrong. But a lot of people on like the third generation of that, like the people that would hear me and you quoting those 2 videos would just like a lot of them are just like, well, so then when you want to sound dumb, you sound like this. That's my issue. Is because it's like it's very funny to sound like that when you are sounding dumb.
I try to find less issues rather than more issues. I try to not take issue with a bunch of stuff because then you're just gonna piss your own self off.
Yeah. Here's my problem with that. No. No, that'd be hilarious. Yeah, no. I don't know. I really don't know why I like fussing so much.
Yeah, we're pretty opposite in that way where I stick to myself. I don't like attention. I stick to myself. I don't try to create problems for myself. I just do what I do.
I think it's a part of the attention thing where it's like a social situation in which I have like the context to talk a lot, I mean, recently I've just been like, hey friend, I wanna die or whatever. But like
it's not like an overtly like negative thing either. Like you like the attention, so you like it, whatever. Like if someone's like, please stop talking about this, then I think you should respect that and be like, okay, I'll stop talking about this. But at the same time,
that's something I've gotten a lot better.
Yeah, I would say. So yeah, I mean that's just the way it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember that shit back in the day. Just like I mean, now it's like for a lot more clear reasons, but I just like look back at the fucking person I used to be, and maybe honestly, I fully believe all the shit that I believe right now, but I would be dumb to say. I'm not gonna say to your credit as though you're like on like a but like to kind of echo some of the mindset that you might be good that you might have been thinking of. I feel like some of the like why would this person do that I have is kind of like because of just me realizing the huge like disparity between how I used to be and how I am now. So I just think back to that shit and it's like what if I was just regular and then I found out about this stuff, it would be like, oh, these things are terrible. But there's like almost like a part of me getting mad at these things in which I'm getting mad at myself. That sounds right. That sounds like something a psychologist would say. Yeah. Yeah. I watched that fucking like WikiLeaks thing or some like cringe thing or whatever, and I see like how this person is so like how this person got me. I used to love Ben Shapiro. I painted a big Trump poster. It's like I really did was I just was like, ugh, these fucking, and now I'm just like, oh wait. And now to me like it's like the fucking it's the complete opposite, which does lend itself to maybe being neutral is the safer thing. If it's gonna go back and forth and back and forth, you want to be able to make people you want to just be kind around people that but me being transgender really did kind of throw a wrench in that shit because I will probably see more, not to be like, look at me, I'm like a victim or whatever. But I like am that like in the middle of me being like, I can't believe I believed such lies. I became a minority. I guess I always was.
Yeah.
But and it feels like weird to say
I don't.
feels like feels like I'm saying I'm black. I mean,
Did you vote for Joe Biden?
no,
But
I've never voted in my life.
Well, if you didn't vote for Joe Biden, you ain't black. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I was like, what the fuck? I thought you were just being like surreal.
Nah.
Did you vote for Joe Biden? Hey yo, mama, did you vote for Joe
I
Biden?
still can't believe he played Despacito. Like, that's the dumbest thing. That was so
silly.
That was so
Yeah.
stupid.
That is so ridiculous. And like Garth Brooks came out there.
And then fucking Donald Trump tweeted some edited version of it where he was playing some fucking ice. What was it called? Some fucking rap song.
I don't know.
That shit was so stupid. It was funny as hell though.
Yeah.
Let's see what it was.
He's so dumb, Joe Biden.
He,
Well, there's me and friends, and then there would be an elephant. We'd all go down to the elephant. We'd suck his dick.
what was
The
it?
elephant would.
Replace Despacito with NWA's anti-police song. Fuck the police. That's what it was.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
God.
kind of. That's weird. That it's kind of like. It's almost like cool, and he was like, "Oh yeah, look, he said fuck the police." That means he had to like get a hold of fuck the police.
I'm not even sure. Like, he might have thought that was real.
Ask people to do this. Yeah.
No,
that's what I'm
I think
saying.
someone
Exactly.
might have some fucking
Dude, and that's what I'm
memer
saying.
might have like
That's
tweeted
what I'm
it.
saying.
Like some stupid
was like-
fucking 4chan memer from Poll might have been like, Donald Trump, look what Joe Biden did. And he's like, oh, Joe Biden's anti-police, more rhetoric for me to spread, even though it's just an edited version.
Yeah.
These politicians are fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, they are. And they're also, like, fucking way too old, man. Shit. Like, just give a young... Come on.
Obama was pretty young.
Cool. Yeah, he was.
John F. Kennedy was pretty young. He was really young.
Yeah.
I think John F. Kennedy was the
I
young.
guess he's still pretty young, technically.
Formaldehyde.
Mm-hmm.
You think his brain's being kept somewhere deep underground, under Disneyland?
Yeah, probably. Do you think
The remnants of his brain, the chunks of it.
exactly? Yeah, it's like Walt Disney's whole head, and like next to it, there's like a jar with like a Sharpie on it that says like JFK, and
It's
there's
just
like
got
a
chunks of
few,
brain
like,
all
little
over it.
pieces. Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
fucking JFK.
Crazy fucking conspiracy theorists.
So fucking crazy, fucking conspiracy.